Okay, so you've probably heard all about vision boards and positive affirmations, all that stuff. But what if the real key to success was, well, something a lot more intense, something systematic? A self-made millionaire named Afnan Khalifa calls it brainwashing. Yeah, I know, it's a provocative idea, and that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Master brainwashing yourself. That's a direct quote. And look, it sounds pretty shocking, right? But hang on. Khalifa isn't talking about some kind of weird manipulation. She's talking about a deliberate, self-directed process, basically a way to reprogram your own mind for success. And that's the big idea we're really digging into here. So on one hand, you've got the traditional self-help playbook, positive thinking, vision boards, affirmations. But Khalifa's method, it's way more radical. This isn't just about thinking a little differently. No, this is about systematically replacing your entire identity, totally saturating your environment with your goal, and then just using relentless repetition until it literally becomes your reality.
All right, so let's just tackle that word head on. Brainwashing. Is that really what this is? And maybe more importantly, why should we even be listening to the person who came up with this whole system? Well, Afnan Khalifa's own story is pretty much all the proof you need. I mean, think about this. She wasn't born into wealth or anything. She was a new immigrant in Canada serving Caesar salads as a waitress, and then she became a millionaire by the time she was 23. A transformation that radical, that doesn't just happen by accident, and she claims it's all because of this exact system we're about to walk through. So when Khalifa uses that word brainwashing, she's totally reframing it. We're not talking about cults or anything like that. For her, it's a tool for you to change yourself. It's a conscious, deliberate decision to literally scrub your mind clean of all those old limiting beliefs and install new, empowering ones that actually move you forward. Okay, but before you can install any new software, right, you have to know what operating system you're running. You have to understand the old beliefs, the default programming that's running your life right now, probably on autopilot without you even noticing it. So let me ask you, what are your limiting beliefs? What are those stories that are just running in the background, telling you what you can and can't do? Because according to Khalifa, these things aren't just random thoughts. They're basically scripts that have been programmed into us by our families, our culture, our society, the whole shebang. And these are some of the actual beliefs Khalifa herself had to fight against. Things like, as a woman, be quiet and don't be greedy. Or, you're an immigrant, so minimum wage is a good goal. My English isn't good enough. Rich people are just born that way. These incredibly powerful and really deeply limiting messages. Do any of those ring a bell for you? Or what's your version of that list? And here's the scariest part, right? A limiting belief doesn't feel like an opinion. It doesn't whisper in your ear. No, it screams at you that this is just reality. It feels like a cold, hard, undeniable fact that you're not good enough or that success is for other people. And that's exactly why they are so incredibly tough to break. Okay, so that's the problem. Deeply ingrained beliefs that feel like facts. So what's the solution? Well, now we get into the good stuff. The practical, step-by-step system Khalifa actually designed to overwrite all that old, faulty programming. Her system is built on 3 really powerful pillars, and it's not just one little trick. It's like a full-on, multi-pronged attack on your old self. So let's break them down. We've got identity replacement, environment saturation, and then evidence collection and daily discomfort. So pillar number 1 is identity replacement. See, your brain is smart. It's going to reject a leap that's just way too big. You can't tell yourself, I'm a millionaire, when you've got $10 in the bank. It just won't stick. So what you do is you create a believable bridge. Khalifa didn't say, I'm a broke waitress. She told herself, I'm a businesswoman who is currently waitressing. It's such a subtle shift, but it is so, so powerful in how you define yourself right now. Next up, pillar 2, environment saturation. This is where you literally have to immerse yourself completely in the world you want to be a part of. For Khalifa, this meant she was listening to business podcasts 24/7. She was following millionaires on social media. She even started dressing the part. The whole point is to make success feel so normal, so familiar, that your brain just starts to accept it as your new default setting. And the third pillar, this one kicks off with evidence collection. You have to become a detective for your new identity. You have to actively fight back against that old story that says you're not good enough. And Khalifa's tool for this was a proof journal.
Every tiny win, every compliment someone gave her, every single dollar she made, she wrote it down as hard evidence that her new identity was becoming real.
Here's a perfect example. There was one month where she made $18,000. Now, she didn't just quietly deposit that money. No way. She treated it like a massive, monumental piece of evidence. She celebrated that 18 grand like it was $1,000,000. And that's the key right there. It's not just about the win, it's about how you frame it and celebrate it. That's what gives it the power to start rewiring your brain. Now, the other half of this evidence pillar is about embracing daily discomfort. Khalifa looked around and saw that every single successful person she studied was taking risks. So she made a rule for herself. Do something that scares you every single day. She started to reframe fear. It wasn't a stop sign anymore. It was a compass pointing her exactly where she needed to go for growth. So that's the system in a nutshell. Identity, environment, evidence. But how do you make it stick? How do you lock in those changes so they're permanent? Well, the final ingredient, the glue that holds it all together, is just relentless repetition. She has this great quote, "I didn't wait on motivation, I just decided." And that gets right to the heart of it. This whole process isn't about waiting for inspiration to strike, waiting until you feel like it. It's about making a cold, hard decision that this is your new life, period. And then you act on that decision, day in and day out, regardless of your mood. And that's the real difference, isn't it? Motivation, it's a feeling. It comes and goes. It's totally unreliable. But discipline, that's a system. It's permanent because it's based on a decision you made. The most successful people out there don't wait for motivation to show up. They just rely on the discipline of their system. And that is exactly what Khalifa's talking about. And look, let's be real. This is not a weekend project. Khalifa is super clear about this. You're looking at a minimum of 3 to 6 months of daily, no excuses practice just to get the ball rolling. For her, it's been a 6-year journey of applying this consistently. But over time, what starts out feeling like a huge, forced effort, it just becomes your new normal. It becomes who you are. Okay, so let's wrap this up and bring it all together. What can you actually do? Here are the first steps you can take to start reprogramming your own mind, like right now, today. Think of this as your starting blueprint. Step 1, you have to get brutally honest and write down your old beliefs. Step 2, define your new identity in excruciating detail. Then step 3, saturate your environment. Curate everything you see and hear. Step 4, get comfortable being uncomfortable every day. And finally, step 5, start that proof journal and celebrate every single win, no matter how small. And this all comes back to one powerful and kind of terrifying principle. Your brain literally doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you just tell it over and over again. The reality inside your head is built from the stories you repeat. So if you tell your brain a new story consistently and relentlessly, that story eventually becomes your reality. So at the end of the day, this isn't really just about becoming a millionaire. It's about deliberately choosing the person you want to be. Your brain is just sitting there waiting. It will believe whatever you tell it most often. So the only real question left is, what new story are you going to start telling it today?